Hello there. I'm Koios, the Rōnin BeatMaker, and welcome to Lounge Rōnin. All things, everything. If you're new to the channel, please make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe and ring that notification bell. And on this episode, we're going to discuss Yasuke versus the woke right. Round 3. So if you've kept up to date with my little ongoing series regarding Yasuke and the woke right pop culture commentators and gaming commentators, you'll know that they are upset that the new Assassin's Creed game, you get to play as a historically accurate black man that lived in feudal Japan. Now, they will dismiss this black man due to the fact that he was a black man and that he carried swords and was in the service and presence of a great samurai and lord of that time. And so, you know, the woke right, they were pretty pissed off that you got to play as a black man in ancient Japan, historically accurate black man. Up until then, every protagonist in the Assassin's Creed series were created characters that were interacting with historical figures based on throughout time, depending on the various time periods that the games took place in. And this time around, they decided to use a historically accurate person. If you are aware of Grums, he is the patron saint for the woke right gamers at the moment. He helped create World of Warcraft. You know, won't disparage him for the incredible impacts he's had in the gaming community, but this dude is completely full of shit at this point in time now, and is completely grifting and race baiting and manipulating his audience and base to promote his own ideologies. And I agree with some of his things, but at the same time, I'm going to call people out when they're, you know, essentially grifting bullshit. And he started grifting, claiming that Ubisoft was erasing his heritage as an Asian man. And then the very next tweet he puts out, he's claiming, oh, I'll totally play this game as long as Yasuke isn't a forced DEI character and the story is good. So he's been race baiting about this game, yet at the exact same time as claiming that he'll play the game. You have a lot of them, Yellow Flash, Mr. H Reviews, Edme Gunn, whatever his name is. You have a lot of them out there who are essentially just being racist and bigoted and complaining about the game, despite the fact that in this same game, you have ancient technology from a bygone civilization that shoots lasers or allows you to tap into the timeline. So this is a historical fiction, science fiction video game. And what's even more ironic about it is that there's 2 playable characters. The other one is a shinobi or a ninja and is a woman. And you have everyone complaining about, I want to play as a Japanese character, and there's literally a Japanese character that you can play as. So you have that nonsense that's going on. And then you also have the newer nonsense that came out about the fact that for either Yasuke or Noe, I think her name is, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the ninja's name correctly, but essentially, you had various relationship choices. So essentially, you can, if you wanted to, you can get with a guy, you can get with a girl. It didn't really matter. Um, and people were like, the woke right gamers and pop culture commentators like Yellow Flash and all these other cats, Nerd Erotic, Mr. Age, whatever, all those cats, grifting off of this shit, started calling him a gay man and saying, look what they're doing to the black man. They're making him gay and all this other bullshit. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I didn't see you guys complaining about this in Mass Effect 2. I didn't see you guys complaining about this in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And I covered that in round 2 about the whole relationship stuff and just how, full of crap these guys are in terms of just, grifting off a race. And now the newest event, which is even more funnier, and it's even more funnier. I don't even bother anymore listening to their videos because it's hard trying to watch stupidness spin stupidness. And after a while, it's just, why am I doing that to myself? So this is the latest update, and this has gotten the woke right in gaming and in pop culture in a bit of a tiffle. They don't know how to comprehend this. So let's dive into it. I want to say thank you for everyone that is joining me on this Thursday morning. Please make sure to hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, and please feel free to share the stream. So this is coming to us from Game Rant by Dominic Bosnjak. I'm not sure. Yeah. And here it says, Assassin's Creed Shadows $280 edition. Jesus. Is already sold out in some places. And so right now the pop culture woke right, they're trying to figure out how to spin this in like some kind of weird like racist. It's weird how they're trying to spin it now. But at the same time, I'm gonna have to admit how asininely ridiculous it is that we are dealing with people out there buying a $280 edition of this game. But here's the point that we're gonna get into, and let's read the article. So, the irony of this, we're gonna get into the irony of the situation for the pop culture woke right. The collector's edition of Assassin's Creed Shadows is already sold out in some places. This development testifies to the excitement surrounding Assassin's Creed Shadow, even though the game itself isn't scheduled to hit the store shelves for another 6 months. Ubisoft revealed the official title for the next entry in its hit franchise on May 13th. Assassin's Creed Shadow received its first cinematic trailer 2 days later. Pre-orders for the game opened the same day. Assassin's Creed Shadows Collector's Edition sold out across Europe. So I don't know how the descendants of the Europeans, these woke right commentators who are all Europeans, they're all descendants of Europeans, how are they going to feel about their brethrens across the sea, selling this game out? So let's see what it says. Although some vocal fans wasted no time in criticizing Assassin's Creed Shadows' pricing, the backlash seemingly did little to affect the open world's RPG purchase performance. Neither did all the race baiting, clearly, as we're seeing now. Numerous retailers across Europe are hence already listing its collector's edition as out of stock. That list includes Game, the sole distributor of Assassin's Creed Shadows' most expensive edition in the United Kingdom. Multinational retailer Smith's Toys Superstores is also no longer accepting pre-orders for this $280 edition of the game, while Mecha Japan states that it only has a few units left, and that's only for the PS5 version. Okay, let's repeat that last part. Because remember how the woke right pop culture commentators, they were, and these are the white men, right? coming to the defense of the Japanese man and woman. All right. So this is what's funny about these guys. They hate the left so much that they end up acting as the left and becoming the spokespersons and the guardians for Japanese culture. How crazy is that? But here we have, and it says, Mecha Japan states that it only has a few units left, and that's only for the PS5 version. So it's already selling out in Japan. So when you go to Yellow Flash and any of those other, pop culture woke right commentators, right? When you go to them and they tell you nobody wants to play this game is offensive, it's gonna bomb, all of that. Yet here, it's already sold out in the UK and in Smith stores in Europe generally, I'm assuming. They're not even accepting pre-orders. And in Japan, there's barely any units left. And this is for the hard copy. So think about that. So they're out here telling you that Japanese people don't want this game. Japanese people don't want this. We are defending Japanese people. They don't want to play as a black person. Right? That's what they're saying. Yeah, it looks like to me that might be quite the opposite. Because as we know, in Japan, PS5 is the go-to. We know that that's, the biggest seller in Japan because of Sony. So if you're telling me that Japanese people are selling out the hard copy for Assassin's Creed Shadows, knowing full well that one of the characters is a black samurai, what are we doing here? Like, why are you still like listening to these people? Why are you entertaining their bullshit? The Japanese people aren't even freaking out about it. In fact, they're for it. So who's more progressive here? I ask you, who's more progressive here? Literally, who's more progressive here? Because it seems to me that the woke right, they have no interest in playing this game because it's a black man. Yet Japan is like, bro, I'm for this. Please give me this $280 edition. I want this. Europe, give it to me. I'm down for this. So how are they going to spin it? How's the woke right going to spin this now that it seems like Japan and Europe are totally for it? So what happens when this game completely sells out for PS5 in Japan? How are they going to spin this? Who are they going to call racist? Are they going to call Ubisoft racist? Is Grums going to call Ubisoft racist? Is he going to... No. Are they going to call Japan racist? Are they going to attack Japan now and call Japan stupid? Is Grums, Yellow Flash, any of these white boys and Japanese? I'm assuming Grums is Japanese because he made the impression that he was a Japanese man, and that Ubisoft was erasing his culture and him from existence. Yet the Japanese people seem to be telling you, hold a second, Grummy, we're for this. And then you know what's going to be even more funnier, right? When the game comes out and it turns out that Japanese people are playing more as Yasuke than they are as playing the ninja. How funny is that going to be? When you're going to see more gameplay of Japanese people in Twitch, Kick, whatever, streaming the game, you're going to see Japanese people, men and women, and they're all going to be playing as Yasuke. How is the woke right pop culture commentators gonna go? How are they gonna spin that? Who are they gonna blame for that? This is why I'm saying, like, don't fall for this nonsense. And while you're at it, make sure you hit that like button. But let's continue. Let's continue, because this is the whole point that I want to make to everyone. To be clear, do not fall for their BS. Because they're totally just manipulating you. Because it seems to me, as we're seeing, Japan is okay. they're down for the game. All right. Look at this. This is a collector's edition. I'm not even going to lie. That looks like fire. That looks fire. All right. This is the hard copy. Okay. It's sold out in Europe. It's damn nearly sold out in Japan. So I don't know how are they going to spin it? I mean, that statue looks fire. You know, and what's so funny about it too, right? This is one thing that, and I think I mentioned it either in round one or round two. But what's so funny about it, right, is in their minds, they think that assassins are just sneaky people all the time. In majority of the Assassin's Creed games, you can literally just walk up and just take the person out point blank range. Isn't that called an assassin? And then you can throw some smoke bombs and then hop into a hay barrel and then they can't find you. Right? So, you know, this whole thing about, oh, well, he can't be an assassin because he's a tall black man and he's going to stand out. My dudes, some assassins walk through the front door and he's that kind of cat. If you look at the gameplay of how he plays the game, he's the assassin that walks through the front door. She's the assassin that goes through the back. I apologize for my cough. But, I mean, just look at the collector's edition. All right? That's awesome. That's a lot of cool, fun stuff. You got a cool poster in the background. With Japanese watercolors. It's beautiful. The statue looks dope. This is sold out. So when Grums and all these other people, Yellow Flash, all of them, when they tell you that Japanese people are rejecting this, yet it's selling out in Japan, they're lying to you. They're lying to you. And they're racist against black people, and they're racist against Japanese people, because they're telling you, this is the white man telling you that the black man can't be a samurai, and then telling the Japanese people that this is offensive to your culture and you shouldn't play this game because this isn't historically accurate. All right, just think about that. That's how they're treating the black man and the Japanese man right now. That's what's going on. And the reason why I'm kind of bringing this to attention and making it this point is like, this is, you know, this is straight up how the left is, especially when it comes to their racist rhetoric and behavior. So you now have the right behaving no differently than the left. Just something to keep in mind. Just something to keep in mind. Let's continue. As of late May 2024, there no longer appears to be a way to order the PC version of Assassin's Creed's Collector's Edition. Its console counterparts are still up for grabs in the United States, where they are exclusively distributed by GameStop. Generally speaking, the sole fact that a limited edition of any given game gets sold out quickly does not necessarily guarantee that its overall pre-orders are doing well. Not least because publishers can always choose to create artificial scarcity with such releases. But that not might be the case here, even though it's presently unclear how many 280 editions of the Sengoku-era Japan game were promised to distributors. Namely, one recent report indicated that Ubisoft is happy with Assassin's Creed Shadows' pre-order performance across the board. Given how long fans have been asking for a mainline installment set in feudal Japan, it is plausible that the upcoming game will do well sales-wise. Another reason why the fandom is excited about the upcoming entry is the promise of Assassin's Creed Shadows overhauling the series' stealth system by allowing players to extinguish sources of light in the vein of the Thief games and even go prone, among other novelties. Now, if you've ever played the Thief games, which I have, they're really fun. Um, Man, I might actually have to whip that out again. That game is actually really good. What's cool about it is that you can, turn off lights. You can do certain things that aid in your ability to limit the sound and limit people's capabilities of finding you. And the fact now that they're actually going to add into Assassin's Creed is the ability to prone, which is mean to go all the way down onto your stomach and crawl. I don't know what other novelties they're going to be adding, but this is just something I think people need to take into consideration, that if they're supposedly overhauling the series stealth system, then that means when it comes to playing as the shinobi, you're actually going to get to play as a ninja assassin. So I don't know. I just think that's just something to keep into mind for everyone, that if they actually are overhauling, we don't know. They're saying that, but this is Ubisoft, so we have to keep into mind, they could be talking right out their ass about overhauling the stealth system. But it's just something to keep in mind, and it's going to be interesting to see how that relates to playing as Yasuke. Previous reports have indicated that the new version of the Anvil engine used by Assassin's Creed Shadows will be the first to support full-fledged ray tracing. Although that claim has yet to be officially confirmed by Ubisoft, the open-world RPG is scheduled to hit early access on November 12th, followed by a global release 3 days later. So, I mean, if Ubisoft is happy with the pre-orders right now, then I guess it doesn't really matter, right? Yeah, and it's like it's funny how the controversies aren't hurting the sales. If and like we said, we don't really know. They could be fudging the numbers a little bit, but my whole thing here is that despite all of this, and let's just say the game is doing well in terms of sales, and if it's doing well in Europe, and if it's really if it's doing well in Japan, this is what matters most, right? Hilariously, if it does well in terms of sales in Japan, then everything that the pop culture commentators have said, all their race baiting, all their bullshit in regards to this game doesn't matter, because the Japanese people don't give a crap about what America has to say about Japanese culture or history. That's something to keep into mind. Just something to keep into mind for everybody, because when it comes to the woke right and the gaming and Hollywood and all of this, they have completely become the left, and it's just fascinating to watch, and it's actually hilarious too at the exact same time. So I highly recommend just see how this plays out. The game doesn't come out till November. If the hype keeps the momentum, if the pre-order sales keep on selling out of the collector's editions, and if the console versions here sell out as well, especially in Japan, like I'm telling you, then this whole narrative that they have been spinning is complete bullshit. And any other narrative that they try to spin henceforth, don't believe it, because it's probably bullshit. And that's just the honest truth. They'll gaslight you and manipulate you for clicks, for super chats, for engagements on Twitter, all of that. Grums, when he was doing his race baiting about Assassin's Creed, he's verified. So he's monetizing off of his race baiting and grifting and gaslighting of his audience and fan base. Just something to keep in mind, y'all. They're monetizing off of this stuff. Just something to keep in mind. Yeah. It's kind of funny how they keep on making all these European historical figures black, and then when you go deeper into the research and you look into the Moors and the fact that like black people were already in North America and were already, you know, populating various aspects of Europe, you then start to wonder, like, are they trying to tell us the truth? Now, I know that might be a little hard for some people to swallow, what I'm just saying right now. But if you're curious about that stuff, highly recommend you check out Dan Calloway's channel. He's got some really good books. Shaka Atmos. There's some really good stuff out there. I'm just going off on a little bit of a tangent at the moment. But I just think it's funny, the manipulation of this stuff, and how they're trying to manipulate Japan into like being mad about this when it seems to be quite the opposite. So yeah, just everyone out there, just keep in mind that these grifters, they're full of shit, and they're just manipulative, and they know that the only way that they can make money is creating controversy and negative energy. Nothing positive, just negative energy, negative frequencies, negative words, nothing good. So I highly recommend, don't invest in their time, their energy, or their content. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Lounge Rōnin. All things, everything. If you've made it this far, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. And until next time, stay positive, stay focused, stay true, and